Hey friends, welcome to my acoustic journal where I keep you up to date about all the things I did in terms of guitar and music in the past month. Let's have a look at February 2024 together. And if you watch all the way to the end, I will have another big announcement for you. In case you're new here, my name is Sönke. I'm a guitarist and composer based in Hamburg, Germany. I play concerts and teach workshops all over the world. And since the beginning of this year, I also produce and upload weekly videos here on my YouTube channel. For me, February started the same as January ended. I was focusing completely on my upcoming duo album with Bjarke. I spent a lot of time practicing the new pieces we still had on our list for the second recording session. On February 6, I took the train to Denmark, and in the 4 days after, we finished the recordings of our new album. Making an album is always intense and exhausting. We worked until late in the evenings. In the middle of the session, we had a hard disk crash and lost some recordings, so we had to do some of the work again, but we still enjoyed the process. Making music with Bjarke is truly wonderful and inspiring, and once everything was done, it felt really special. I can tell you already now I'm really happy with the results, and it will be not easy to wait a few more months until we can show it to you. On the album, there will be a very colorful mix of just original music inspired by experiences we shared and people we met in the past 8 years of touring together. Like on our first album, you will find elements of folk music, fingerstyle guitar, fingerstyle violin, which Bjarke basically invented, I guess, film music, classical music, jazz, and lots more. I always think it's a good sign if you can't really describe the music in terms of genres, because then it's probably something very personal and unique, and that's definitely the case with this new album. We will have a few very special guests on the album who are recording their contributions right now. Soon the album will get mixed and mastered, and we plan to release the final thing just before my guitar festival in Frebsum, Germany, and Bjarke's festival in Næstved, Denmark in early September, so we can have 2 big release parties there. I will keep you up to date about the album here on my channel or via my newsletter. And by the way, if you want to become a part of that first release party in Frebsum, the festival tickets are available via the link in the description below. After the album recordings, I had a very memorable train and bus drive back to Hamburg. I think it was around 12 hours instead of 5, and I managed to break my guitar gig bag on the way. So back home, I needed to take a little rest. I was happy to be in Hamburg for a few days. I celebrated my birthday and spent a day with friends, visited my family in East Frisia, did a 1-day road trip to the Netherlands, but then the next projects were already around the corner. First, I shot a YouTube video of my piece Gnomes, which I hadn't played in a few years, but it was a lot of fun revisiting that composition. And afterwards, I had the opportunity to play a live radio concert for NDR Kultur. It's a big radio broadcast in northern Germany which focuses on classical music, and I felt very lucky to be a part of the program. Playing in the radio is quite different compared to my usual concert routine, and I was a bit nervous in the beginning, but the team did such a good job, and in the second half of the program I almost forgot I was in a live radio show playing for 100,000 people or more. I'm grateful for the experience and the opportunity, and I'm happy my music now reached a lot of new people in northern Germany. The whole program was also filmed, and you can still watch it online. The link is also in the video description below. The radio show with NDR Kultur was the start of a busy week. I recorded my video about if studying at a music conservatoire is worth it, and I received some really nice messages about it, also from former teachers and fellow students who felt very similar about the things I mentioned. I played the first full-length solo concert of my tour that started now in Ismaning, close to Munich, after taking a break from touring for almost 3 months, which was the only way to have enough time to prepare the recordings well enough. But it felt so good to be back on stage and play for real people instead of microphones again. And also, I had 2 rehearsals with Renko Dirks. Maybe you remember we did a Christmas EP called Tales of Winter Volume 1 in 2022. Of course, we didn't rehearse just for fun, and you can probably guess now what the announcement is I mentioned in the beginning of this video. Tales of Winter Volume 2 is coming at the end of this year. After the second rehearsal, we went directly to the Waldhaus studio, which is the studio I also recorded my solo albums and the Cocoon album with Philipp Wiechert, and we recorded 5 duo arrangements with our sound engineer and producer Moe. Not only Christmas songs, but also other songs we think are very fitting for the next dark winter, which is luckily not coming too soon, especially here in Hamburg. We really need some sun first. The EP will obviously be released around Christmas, not only on streaming services, but we plan to make a vinyl LP as well, with Tales of Winter Volume 1 on the A side and Volume 2 on the B side, or maybe we also mix it up a little bit. So if you know anyone with an LP player, getting Christmas presents will be easy this year. 2 days ago I arrived home and realized that with the album and the EP I recorded this month with Renko and Bjarke, the Cocoon album I made last year with Philipp, and my solo album Spark I released in 2022, all the albums I planned and prepared over the last 6 years or so are actually recorded now. There's of course still a lot to do with the new duo album with Bjarke and the Tales of Winter EP with Renko before we can release them. But after all those years, it's the first time I don't have very clear creative goals like completing album repertoires. Soon I can start composing new music again and just see what happens, knowing there will be another new album at some point, but because I have 2 in the pipeline, for now I can just focus on creating. The last time I was in that situation was in my time as a student in Dresden, and creatively that might have been my most productive time. In that regard, I'm very curious about the coming weeks and months. Before I will start working on new things, I will take a short time off. It was all a bit much in the last months, but only for a few days, because in March there are also many exciting things in the calendar already. Video shoots, concerts in Denmark and Germany, and much more I will tell you about in the next episode of the Acoustic Journal. This year I will be on tour quite a lot, for example in the UK together with Will McNichol, in China, in Denmark, and of course all over Germany. Next year I'm going to play my first tour in the US. So if you want to stay up to date about my tour schedule, please check the concert calendar on my website or put your name into my email list, which is also possible on my website if you scroll all the way down. I will soon send the first newsletter of this year, and if you want to see all the upcoming videos I will upload to this channel, please subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, have a great week, and see you at a concert or in the next video.